presenters, one of them gave me very distinct instructions to, and I quote, introduce the fuck out of me, dog, which I shall now attempt to. The way a slow clap works is you begin very subtly, it builds, and then when they emerge from behind the curtain, it explodes into enthusiasm and they begin presenting. So, I give to you, my friends, some very dear friends of mine here in the local Detroit community. They're very, very efficient. They are the most efficient, most magical, most tactical, other adjectives for do things well. They are the founders of Scrap Detroit, which is an amazing festival. Yeah, it starts now. An amazing little event in Detroit where we take scrap metal from Detroit and then metal workers of Detroit build awesome things with it and they auction it off. It's great. They're great. These guys are great. Give it up for Ana, Cukovic, and Jenna and Nordgren, everybody.
Thank you, Zach. You're really great. All right, just so you guys know, I'm not sexting or face cracking. These are my notes, okay? So, real quick before we get started, we want to give a huge thanks to the producers, and to all the volunteers involved for making this possible. Also, if you're speaking today, sat in on a panel, set up the info booths, thank you so much for coming out and sharing your information. Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. But before we get started, I just want to introduce myself. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jenna, and this is Ana, and we're here to talk to you about scrap.
All right, well, thank you everybody for coming. My name is Ana. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what Scrap is. So Scrap is a free community arts festival held in a parking lot across from Traffic Jam and Snug. Scrap is designated to promote arts, community, education, and collaboration around an art that is focal point about blacksmithing, potworks, and welding. Scrap is a one-day event. It is free and open to all ages. Every year, Scrap has a theme, and last year's theme was Revolve, and that means that every sculpture that was designed and created at the event had to be kinetic or revolving in one way. We collected scrap metal for months leading up to the event, and we picked 3 teams. We picked Detroiters, City Sculpture, and Motown Masters, all of who had to create a sculpture at the event and have it ready to be actually auctioned off, and all of those proceeds were donated to a nonprofit called Green Living Science. And Green Living Science educates public school students about environmentalism and recycling.
All right, so I just want to talk a little bit about the birth of this because it's kind of funny. Actually, next weekend it'll be a year. It was the weekend following the immersion. I was table waiting at the time in Traffic Jam and Snug, and my employers, Scott and Carolyn, approached me with an idea. Now, mind you, they have the money, but not necessarily the time to do this. And I'll just say this, keep in mind that Traffic Jam is a more liberal place, so they took in the alternative folk like myself. So me being involved in Burning Man and other epic, ridiculous projects was really no secret at all. So when they approached me, they knew that I'd be just the fit for this sort of thing. Carolyn went on to say that her father was a blacksmith and a member of the Michigan Blacksmith Guild. We agreed and, had a deep discussion about how we felt that in Detroit especially, that welding, building, and making was such a nutrient foundation to our city's history here, and we wanted to find a way to shed some light on it. So, needless to say, the conversation wrapped in 45 minutes, and I was totally on board, super excited, and I was on the phone with Doxy like 5 minutes later. I'm like, let's fucking do this, right? So, yeah.
So, as she was on the phone with Doxy, then she ended up calling me a bit later, and luckily this time I actually checked my voicemail. And all she said was, hey, we're doing an event and I want you to come on board. So I called her back, and before we knew it, we were at Northern Lights getting together, and she was telling me about what scrap was. What really drew me in this time was actually the fact that scrap revolved around arts, around community, and the fact that every single piece of their proceeds donated will be going to a nonprofit. So at this time, I was assigned a role to actually assemble a team of volunteers, and before I knew it, I created a Google Docs. I was getting ready to assemble everybody together, and I was really overwhelmed by the amount of responses that I got, and also how fast they started rolling in. One thing that actually really struck me was, it was like, I'm getting all these Google responses, and people are just like, yeah, I want to do this, and then there are all these nicknames and all these things, and I'm like, who are these people? What are these nicknames, and why don't I have a nickname, and how is all of this, what's going on, right? So Doxy and Brick, so they're all well-seasoned veterans and they knew what was going on. So when all said was done, I actually had a wonderful team of volunteers who are also in the audience, who served as setup crew, as artist runners, as info booth runners. So it was a wonderful group of people who helped set up the event and make it run as it did and make it amazing. So
yeah, and this event was a lot of fun to work and mold based on the fact that I had the privilege of working with people like Doxy, Brick, Ana, and we definitely feel that Scott and Carolyn got way more than what they were expecting. I remember Scott coming to me post-event and being like, "There's not a flick of lint on this fucking floor," and it's like, that's what we do. We clean up our messes, right? So that was really exciting, to kind of bring Burning Man to a place that, it wasn't really known there at the traffic jam or at a lot of places in the Detroit community. And that said too, like, all of our producers aren't necessarily burners, but a lot of us have values and principles that comply with the Burning Man standards or principles, true essence of. And we're still working to take community interaction to a whole new level with this event and other events like this. And I'll just say this, like, it's funny, I feel that, people say this a lot, but, Burning Man is not just a place in the desert, right? And it's important that we actually live that out, because I'll tell you this, the Playa is not my home, Detroit is my home. And, and that's the thing, it's like, you can go to GLC, you can go to Burning Man, you can go to Lakes of Fire, but I truly feel that it's our mission to strain as much inspiration as we can from these events and fucking bring it home, like, this is our home, and this is, so that's what we're really trying to do. And, accessibility was a huge thing for this event, and whether we like to admit it or not, sometimes people are deterred by the word Burning Man and maybe wouldn't come to the event, So I want, whether you're 2, 22, 42, 62, I want you to come to this event and be able to take something home from it, And I feel that in Detroit especially, our Burning Man scene here is very genuine, and that we're here to, we're dedicated to promoting community building rather than just a party, So that's really huge for us. But yeah, Anna's going to talk a little bit more about the day of event and logistics.
So on the day of the event, everybody showed up bright and early in the morning, and it was really surprising how everybody mobilized really, really fast and started cleaning up the parking lot and setting everything up. And can you go on the back? In the back. Oh, it's like different on a computer. So this is our DJ booth, and for some reason I have been carrying around a bunch of curtains in my car. So we initially had it easy up, and we were of course going to decorate it. So I was like, I have some curtains, Doxy had some fabric, so we started decorating the DJ booth tent. And then with that, we actually had a Penske truck in the back, if you could see this. And it was this huge sore in one's eye, and it was just standing there, so what are we going to do with it? So what we ended up doing, somebody had a rainbow-colored tarp, and so we just got a bunch of people, and we put the tarp over the Penske truck, and we were able to make such a mundane object a part of the event, a part of the festival. And then, along with the DJ booth, we actually borrowed a couch, a coffee table, we got some plants, so people were able to just hang out in front of the DJ booth, talk to each other, build, get to know each other really, and make friends with everybody who was at the event and who was willing to do so. So, along with the warm environment and this homey feel that we had and colorful and everything, we also had 2 interactive pieces. One of them was the pendulum chair, and so that pendulum chair is actually infamous too, because during the event somebody climbed it and just slightly got injured. We were able to ice them and they were totally fine, and luckily it was Doxy's co-worker, and we were just able to laugh it off and all said and done. And then on the left, we had the birthing egg, which was especially made for Scrap by a Wayne State student so that he could promote his art and show his art, but also so that other people can enjoy it too and have a different experience. And we don't have a photo for this. There's actually a video floating around, but we don't have it. Brick brought his samurai swords, so we were staging impromptu sword fighting. And I would like to say that I was the winner of most of these fights. If anybody says otherwise, it's a lie. the event that make it fun, that make it different, and everybody has to. Also, any event would not be an event if there weren't any hiccups. Luckily, we had Doxy with us, and especially when the fire marshal showed up. So, the fire marshal shows up, we're still kind of setting up the event, everything, we're working everything out. The fire marshal shows up, he's like, where are your permits? And we're like, permits, what? You know, they're welding materials, they're welders, they're tarps, so it was kind of like a hazard. So, needless to say, we were so lucky to have Doxy right here handle this situation so diplomatically and put out the fire and the fire marshal, so the event still went on. Anyway, after it was all said and done, and after the event was nearing to an end, all of the sculptures were built, and we were able to hold an auction and realize one of the fundamental goals of scrap, among many others, is building, finding and raising money for a nonprofit. So all of the pieces were auctioned on and purchased by community members. Therefore, we were able to donate the money to Green Living Science and make the event a success. In addition to that, when even that part was done, all of the volunteers who were there, they stuck around, they cleaned up, and unless you were there that day, you wouldn't have even known that there was an event going on. The parking lot was better than what we actually came and found it as. So, as I said, and just to wrap up, I'd like to note that scrap is a platform for building friendships, for building communities, for building networks around an art that we all love and enjoy, and we'd like to strive to make that in the future, but also to make this city a welcoming, a better, and a more loving place, and for people to actually meet each other and know what they're doing and build friendships so that we could build better and bigger things, but also keep getting to know each other. So now, Jenna is going to tell you a little more about what we have ready for this upcoming year.
All right, so based on what me and Ana shared tonight, we really hope that we piqued your interest. And I'll just say this, you know, at the closing of the event last year, I had this thought that this has become so much more than just like scrapping together a bunch of metals so we can have a live welding event, which is pretty badass if you ask me. But it's scrapping together a Detroit community, you know, and in addition to the making scene here, what else is pretty awesome? The music scene, right? So this year's theme for Scrap Detroit is gonna be beats. Not like the vegetable, but like the music. So, you know, we're looking to involve local street side bucket drummers, full-size marching bands, DJs, everything like that. So, you know, if you know anyone who's a musician who would like to be involved, we'd love to hear from you guys. This is our email up here. We also have a Facebook event page up, and up there is, we have the vending application up. So if you want to sell some art, we're all for it. Put up an installation of any kind, we're all for that too. And then also, if you're a welder, you know a welder, we supply the MIG welders. You just bring you and your brain and make sweet art. It needs to comply with the theme though, and all the information is there on the application. So get to it. The deadline is July 1st. And again, the application is live on our Facebook event page. I'll be spamming all of you like crazy. But yeah, with that said, I really, really hope to see you guys at the Traffic Jam and Snub parking lot on September 12th, 2015. And thank you so much for your attention. And one more thing. Oh yeah, one more thing though. We need your medal. We need your medal. Yeah. So, you know, we are working out a space right now and some dates, but please grab hold of this email. Come talk to me after. I'll be floating around. If you know or you have any yourself that you don't need, we're collecting scrap metal to make some badass. What?
Also, we have a Facebook page. It's called Scrap Detroit. Oh. You can find it there too, and you can message us.
Yes.
And also at the email, or you can find us around and let us know.
Yeah, I won't be far. Thank you so much for your time, you guys. This is a really awesome event. Give yourselves a round of hands for paying attention. It's not easy. It's not easy. Okay, thank you. Thank you. You're all amazing.
So a hug would be like, wanna hug me?
No, yeah.
Can you go slightly lower like that?